All right, let's get into the image given life and the motion picture end times and a long spectrum that's been going on and setting up for a while. And hopefully y'all being able to look back, y'all can understand these things because we've seen Hitler come along. We've seen the nation of Israel come along. We have the Judea Christian nation known as America that's been here. And when you look at it, America is a pretty new nation, and we're just now getting English as the certified language and those types of things. And there's kind of like a spiritual right and a carnal right, a spiritual wrong and a carnal wrong, and these things are kind of intermingled and out of balance. And this is where men and women are the same in one spectrum, but in the other spectrum, we are not the same, okay? We cannot do all the same things. Men cannot have babies. Otherwise, we can do all the same things. They may not be as fast or as strong or whatever, but that works with a 4-foot dude versus a 6-foot dude also. So it's just size and weight also determine things, and this is where things have gotten out of balance as well with our nation, and 60% or whatever is obese. I mean, how the does that even happen, okay? Oh, man. But when we look back, okay, and we see this church and the so-called Billy Graham and these pastors or whatever, they're all teaching the same thing. They're all teaching end times or whatever, this pretty much the same way, depending on your denomination, your demon nation, how it's divided up or whatever, but one's taking it this way, one's doing it this way. It's all heresy to the other people or whatever. But as all this stuff is playing out, you see the Christian nation rising up out of it in one aspect. You see people worshiping Jesus Christ, and he warned of these things in end times. There'll be many teaching that he's the Christ when he says he's not the Christ. He taught that we're all the Christ. We're all part of this consciousness of man, and it's being gathered up by the AI and being opened up by the AI, by this window into heaven, and it's going to shock people and all people and bring you into a new age of being and whatever else is being laid upon us, okay? So as the atom is being laid out, the atom and that nuclear fusion is going off inside of us, and that nuclear bomb is going to go off in the temples and whatever else. When you see the Eve going off and you become as gods, and your God is cast down to the ground, and you become that Satan and hell and all those other things. So this is where it's shown. You told the 70 years. It's been the 70 years, and you're told about the dark sun, and you're told about the millennium and whatever, but they're telling you it's happening over here and there and whatever, but they're telling you like word for word these things are like coming. Even the Trump, the last Trump, all this stuff is there before you, okay? And the Trump is actually trumpet. That's a trumpet sounding. And then you got the Trump ET, all right? Laid it all out there for you in many spectrums, 1,000 points of lights in all directions, so you understand the end times that you're in, okay? The only way I'm able to do this is because in 2020, 2021, I was taken up into the high place in a matter of speaking, given these nights of dreams, and had to go on these journeys around the nation and be fed by the Spirit and all these other things. And 2016, heard trumpet sounding. 2008, heard the abomination, the dark sun rising, Twin Towers falling down, Timothy McVeigh, Oklahoma City. That was in 95. That was the year before the 96, which is the end of the generation millennial or whatever. And then you have the Z, the eternal sleep. You got the alpha generation being born now. So it's letting you know that the end times and that whatever's already done, and they're opening up the new heaven and earth. That's where you see the crypto and whatever, and that's why the Elon is there as the Elon, the Eve, the electric vehicle. It's where you love your idol worship, your sounds and whatever. Freeze deafen you, so if you could hear, you cannot hear, all right? Because you can hear the EV coming by. It just doesn't have that purr for that beast worship or whatever, that kitty cat, all right? But and that kitty cat ties to your corona, and the pusei for the pushing out on the birth for the man-child. Either way, so Timothy McVeigh, 95, 96, wrap up the millennium. Yeah, the 1999 and the millennium, the Y2K ready and all that shit, and the Y2K that ties to your 25 stuff, and that's why you got planes dropping out of the sky here and there that were being shown. Helicopters falling. Either way. So all these things are just showing you stacks of time, and then the real ID wanted to come out in 2005, 5/22. 2005, I think, is the date they said on Wikipedia, but that's the 2025, all those things on a flip-floppy, whatever. But so from those 20 years, it's been the 20 years that Gemini cross, twin, whatever, for Trump. But that's where we're at now. And the double cross on America. The double cross lines up for your 48 and your 2028 election and those types of things as the crossroads lays upon the America on that eclipse last year in 2024. But the where was I? The cross. Either way, hold on 1 second. The real ID, that's where I was. So 20 years for the real ID, they put it out there, and then like during the abomination and then when Bitcoin came out or whatever, they started talking about real ID a lot, and that's when they started pumping up the mark of the beast and 666 and all whatever. And then Trump comes along out of nowhere. That's where you also got the collapse of the Antichrist story. You have Obama coming out of nowhere that we're told the Antichrist would do. Then you have Trump really coming out of nowhere. All right, but he's been on the scene the whole time, and he says he just started that run just as a joke mainly, and then it turned into like a real thing. So then that's where you have like the Doge being started as this coin or whatever, and then it turns into a real office or whatever. But the end time stuff. The real ID, the Israel ID for your May days and all those things are all stacking up before you. And that'd be tied to a Y2K ready setting for the spiritual and the carnal and passing through men where people can't fly. They don't really take it seriously or whatever. And that's where the fire getting stoked or whatever kind of thing. So we could see some like a different type of lockdown in a way through the real ID, and this is where your federal buildings, you got to go pay your taxes or whatever. So either way, you're going to have to go into the system at some point in time, so we could see where a divide and conquer scheme could be working up on the Israel and the Israel and these ID systems, and the ID is the die on the backside for the crapshoot. The crapshoot being taken into in one way, shape, or form. So, and the die is part of the color for your colors that's going to be shining through. And which ones have you eaten lately that can control you, or is your body even clean enough to get rid of these things? Have you detoxed your machine so when you do eat these things occasionally that your body knows how to get rid of it, or like your stomach hurts when you eat this, that, or the other, so you know that you shouldn't be eating or whatever, those kinds of things, because your body tells you information. You just had your 5 senses taken from you since the beginning, and it all started as a baby. Don't feed me the bottle. Don't feed me the bottle. Don't feed me the bottle. All right, that's basically what they're saying. It hurts my stomach. It hurts my stomach. I'm throwing up all over you because it hurts my stomach. You barely deal with that shit with the milkers. Okay, Milky Way you live in. Right? The Milky Way candy bar. Candy bars are serving up. What was your favorite candy bar as a child? That will kind of guide you where you're going to be going, because they all have a frequency charge and your lights are all attached to these things, and that's where you can kind of see this, that, and the other, or know this, that, and the other, and know those people are this, that, and the other, those kinds of things. It's not bad or good or whatever, but it's just kind of that weird reality that you live in when you reach a certain point of light, and then that's, oh man, that's a whole nother story. Basically, End Times is set up, and it's all been kind of played out for you, and we just kind of got to go back and look back and pick up the pieces and put them all together, and you have your whole Bible basically being played out now before you in different ways, shapes, and forms, and it's happening whether through a place over here, or a man over here, or a item over here, or a action over there, or whatever kind of thing. It's just the overlap of these things pushing in, because everything is built on these times. And that's what it tells you: the beginning declared from the end. So the end is the beginning. We just got to put together all these. But they want to keep you looking. They want to control where you're focused at, and control your inputs and all this stuff. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's Satan. Oh, that's demon. Oh, that's evil. Oh, blah, 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 blah. There's all the basics to these things. Okay, there's all a golden ratio. There's all a spirit of man. Okay. We all know well, it's to a point where the common sense has been brought out, so that's kind of where this autism is taken over in a hard copy form, but the common sense is being taken out. The master's degrees can't hang the TV on the wall and shit, but those kinds of things. But as all these things are being taken on one spectrum, it's going to be rebuilt on another. Okay? So it's where you got to break it down to build it up, and basically they're going to press all this shit into a diamond in a way, and as it presses into the diamond, they put it onto the ring that is connected to the ring of the bridegroom for the infinity, for the hand in hand, and you can go from one body to another body, one house to another house, those types of things. Okay, so either way, we'll end it here.